Hey everyone! Last weekend, Mark Brown hosted the 2021 edition of the GMTK Game Jam. All jammers had 48 hours to make a game from scratch, following the theme
Joined together. I want to see games where at least two elements are connected together in some way. What does it mean for them to be joined? What does it mean for that connection to break?
I ended up making Double Hop, a high-score arcade game where both players are controlled with the same buttons. But how did I got there? Let's find out. For me, the jam started at 8 PM, and once I heard the theme, I started coming up with loads of ideas. In this jam, I kinda struggled with the theme, because I didn't want to make something hundreds of game devs made as well. First, I was trying to make a game where different mechanics of the player are joined together. But then I realized that I would have to make a lot of different abilities, and that would make the controls hard to get when I wouldn't have much time for a tutorial. So I scrapped this idea. Then I thought of a shoot-to-move game, but that's not interesting enough for me. Now I was back to square one for the third time. So now I was thinking of a puzzle stealth game, where things with the same color are joined together. It could have been a super good game, but I definitely overscoped here. Then I just went to bed without any progress. But I hope the next day will be better. Saturday morning I finally came up with an idea that sounds interesting and I was able to do in the given time frame. So I made a nice character. Nothing crazy here, just a little creature, and next I set it up the basic platforming. I really wanted to let the gameplay feel like an arcade or retro game, because I actually never did something like this, and for me game jams are all about learning. When I finished this, I created the platform sprites, and I added already some polish. With that done, I created the enemies as well as the player health system. Then I quickly brought together the enemy spawning system. Now I just had to make one more main mechanic, the Phoenix effect. The Phoenix effect is when one player dies, there appears a little countdown, and when it reaches 0, the dead player respawns. But while the connection between both players is broken, when one player is dead, the game is easier, and that's not what I want to have. I fixed this with the sudden death mechanic, which means the player only has 1 HP while the sudden death phase is going on. I did a tiny bit more polishing here and there, and then I contacted Opera VGM for music. Opera VGM is the music composer I teamed up with for this jam, and here's what he came up with. While he was working on the music, I already implemented some sound effects. And after this, I added some final touches to the game as well as the score and high score system. After a tiny bit of bug fixing, I built the game, published it on itch.io and submitted it to the jam. You can play and rate the game with the links in the description. Last year's GMTK Game Jam was my first ever game jam, and now 10 plus game jams after, I was able to be part in another GMTK Game Jam. I really love this community around the game jam, and that was my same thought in last year's jam. Hope you enjoyed this devlog. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content. Cheers!